It's time. I'm gonna be so honest, guys, I didn't think I was gonna do a reading vlog on this. But then I thought about how much this series has like impacted everybody else, and I thought, I want my reactions on camera. I have somehow avoided all spoilers on this series. I have no idea what happened. The first 3 books are technically rereads for me. I read Throne of Glass, Crown of Midnight, and Assassin's Blade all through this last year, but I started with Throne of Glass, and I honestly, at that point, didn't think I was gonna continue the series. Because as much as I enjoyed Throne of Glass and Crown of Midnight, I didn't like care too much about the series. I was like, whatever. But as soon as I read the novellas, I was like, oh, I care about this series. Even though I started with Throne of Glass, I'm on the side of reading the novellas first. So the first 3 books are technically rereads, but I read them long enough ago that I don't really remember much that happens. I remember this one the most. So a lot of my reactions are still gonna be like raw, honestly, because I kind of blocked the first 2 books out. I did like not really care about them when I first read them. It's April. The last clip you guys saw was filmed in December. Crazy. Guess what? Have not picked up the series since. Finished that like first novella. Was like, oh my god, I can't wait to get into this in the new year. Didn't do anything. So that's just like not gonna do. At first I was thinking, and I might have even said it at the beginning of this video, I have absolutely no idea what I said at the beginning of this video, so forgive me if I repeat something. But at first, originally, I was thinking like, oh, I'll read like Throne of Glass at night and then read other books throughout the day, read other books for other videos throughout the day, blah, 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 blah. And then whenever I just happen to finish the Throne of Glass series, you guys will see the video. And then I didn't pick up the series for 4 months because I was reading other books and I was like, well, I don't want to like pick up a new one. I want to finish this one. Wait, I have to do this video. Wait, I'm busy with this. No, I made the executive decision. I carved out the time. The next 2 weeks, we are finishing this video. Dang it. I'm so determined to read this, like, what is it, 200,000 word series? There's 1,960,000 words in this series. Is that right? Oh my god. So we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it in the next 2 weeks. In the next 2 weeks, that's my whole reading plans. The only books I'm reading are the Throne of Glass series because I want to finish it and I want to be fully immersed into this world and I want to know the hype. I've never ever fully completed it. The 3 that I have right here are the only ones I've read and I barely remember them because I think at this point it's been like 2 years. Look at this is the copy of Assassin's Blade I'm reading. I don't think you can see it, but there's literally dust on this cover. There's dust on the cover. That's not... I just gotta finish it. Where did I even leave off? Please tell me I didn't stop in the middle of a novella. There has also been another slight update to this video. Honestly, you guys will probably know this, but I just want you guys to see like real time my thoughts. We've had a slight update. I was gonna make this no spoiler, and then I was like, I don't know, maybe it should be full spoiler. Then I was like, maybe I should do spoiler sections. Like, I don't know. There's so many books in the series that if it was completely no spoiler, I wouldn't even really be able to talk about like the last book in the series, you know? I did a poll, and what I've decided to do and what you guys want me to do is to do no spoilers and then a spoiler section at the end. I'm ready. I'm like yapping because I'm procrastinating starting this. I'm really gonna try finishing this today. I think that's very possible. I think it's honestly very possible. I have an entire free day. I'm in pajamas. I'm not getting out of pajamas if you haven't been able to tell. I think it's entirely possible that I'll finish this book, and I think I'll be able to get like halfway through this book today. And I'm being so dead serious. I have literally 0 plans but to sit and read. It's supposed to be rainy today. It's sunny now, but I see the rain clouds rolling in. It's supposed to get rainy later in the day. I'm not getting out of my pajamas. Like, I have this planned. I have this planned into my calendar. I literally have like read Throne of Glass. So I'm gonna stop yapping because my god, I'm 4 months overdue and probably 4 years overdue on the entire series. More than that. Has to be more than that. Let's actually start reading the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J. Maas. Oh my god, guys, I did stop in the middle of the first novella. Officially completed the first novella. The thing is this is a reread for me. The first 3 books are actually rereads for me. I know like the big plot points that happen in the first 3 books, but I don't remember a lot of them because when I originally read them, I read the first and second book, and I'm not gonna lie, I gave them both like 3 stars. I wasn't super into it, and then I read the novellas and was like, wait, I get it. Like, wait, I really like these characters. I'm really connected. I think that's why people say like read the novellas. Yes, it kind of spoils things, but I feel like it's like not even that big of a deal, like what it spoils technically. That is what caused me wanting to do this vlog. This vlog has been like planned in my head as something I want to do. I'm not kidding, guys, for the last like year and a half. Like ever since I read The Assassin's Blade, I was like, I want to just fully read all of these books at once and like really get into it, because the reason I didn't like the first two books so much was I like was not super connected to the story and the characters. I have reading vlogs where I read them. I remember like the big plot points, but there's like certain little things I don't know. I also have not spoiled this for myself somehow. I know. I cannot believe I haven't spoiled the series for myself. Literally, I'm going into everything except for the first 3 books completely blind. And from what I heard, Heir of Fire, the like technically 4th book, if you're counting the novella, I heard that book is like the one where the series like completely changes. And I don't know how or why, but I know it gets like a lot more intense, a lot more characters are introduced, like it's just crazy. This, however, I know what happens at the end of the novellas, and I'm like, oh, I'm so not looking forward to it, because every time I think about it, I start tearing up. And that's like the thing that made me feel like the most connected to these books at first. Anyway, that's that on that. I'm feeling really excited to get into the rest of the series and the books like I haven't read yet, but we've officially finished the first novella. I think there's 3 or 4 in here, maybe 5. Yeah, I am now on The Assassin and the Healer. Let's start reading. It's a little while later. Got kind of stuck in a little scrolling trap there. I've been pretty good about my doom scrolling, but I did it really badly today. I finished the second novella. Not gonna lie, I never cared for this one that much. I didn't care for it the first time I read it. I didn't really care for it now. Like, I think it's like, yay, girl power, you know, but I'm so curious on if this is gonna come back up at all, or if it's just like introducing us to like who Selenia like is as a person. No, it's like always just kind of like a to me. But I have my hoodie and my headband, and I am now on The Assassin and the Desert. I feel like I can't update too much on this. Like, I feel like there's gonna barely be any clips in the spoiler section part of The Assassin's Blade at the end of the video. But I just feel like there's like not a lot to say about this, since it is just like sets of novellas. But at the same time, it will be interesting to like cross-reference this after I'm done with the whole series, to see like how many things I missed and how many things that I didn't realize were like important details at the time, you know? It's been a few days since I've been able to read for this vlog, because I had a very, very exciting little beach weekend. Well, it wasn't even a weekend, it was midweek. Little beach midweek outing, which I'm so grateful for. That's all on my lifestyle channel. So if you don't know, I do have a lifestyle channel where I post like vlogs and like lifestyle-y content, because it's like my other big passion. So if you like that kind of stuff, you should go ahead and subscribe. But anyway, talking about Assassin's Blade, I just wanted to mention, this is not a spoiler. Like I said, there's gonna be that spoiler section at the end, so don't worry. This is The Assassin and the Desert. Chapter 8 has this really small moment that it opens with that like I just appreciate so much, and it's like something I talk about on my channel quite a bit. It's literally just like Selenia and Ansel playing with like makeup pretty much, and it's such like a small moment. And I remember thinking this the first time I read this, since this is one of my rereads. It's just showing that Selenia likes being pretty and doing her makeup and stuff, and even though it is just this tiny little chunk, to me it's so important, because it's like this idea that like women can still be like badass and cool and like literally like the top assassin, and still like playing with makeup and still like being feminine and girly. As like someone who like, look around me, I'm very feminine and girly. That is just like so important to me, because I love the idea that there can be power in femininity too. We'll have like these strong female characters, and they're only strong because they're displaying like quote unquote masculine traits. And I'm not gonna go like into my whole think piece about this, because I don't even like the terms like feminine energy and masculine energy. I don't even like those. I'm like, why are we gendering these things? Like, it's just so like westernized and stupid, and I could go into like a really long rant about this. But anyway, I love the idea that there can still be power in things that are traditionally feminine, because like, yeah, you can have a strong female character that is like super cool and super badass, but if she's just like doing that and acting like masculine, quote unquote masculine, like what society deems masculine, really you're saying that there's like no power in the femininity part. So I love that Sarah J Maas like just like includes little excerpts like that in these books. Selenia still likes being pretty and being a teenage girl. Like, I love that. I think it's just so fun. And like, that's a whole other conversation. Like, wow, femininity, like the idea of like you have to be pretty and stuff, that's crazy. Like, it's for fun, it's for her, and like that's the difference, you know? I'm not gonna go into like my whole think piece. I really could write an essay about this. I just had to mention, because oh my my gosh. I read it again and I was reminded of it and I was like, I remember just like loving this little detail that's like such a throwaway thing, and it's so important to me. I don't know what's changed. I cannot tell you what has changed. I finished Assassin's Blade. Oh my god. I can't tell you what has changed, but I suddenly feel so much more connected to this series. And I know I felt that when I read this book originally. I remember saying, I think it was in a reading vlog somewhere, where I was like, whoa, I feel connected to this series now. This is why people say read this book first. I read it third. You should read it first. I haven't finished the series yet. I'm telling you now, read it first. I don't know what's changed between my first read of the first 3 books and this reread, but like I suddenly am like, I'm just like here. I'm in it. I'm with y'all. I am with y'all. And I have avoided spoilers so far. I know like a few little things that have happened. I really like don't know what goes on in this story. Like I don't know anything. Oh my god, I didn't cry at the part I thought I was gonna cry at, and I'm not gonna say it. I wanted to see what I originally gave this book as a rating, and I have to go quick because my camera battery is flashing. I originally gave this a 4 stars. Upon my reread though, it's a 5. It's a 5 stars. It just is. I'm going straight into Throne of Glass right now, guys. I'm gonna get ready for the day. It's like still pretty early in the morning, and we're gonna read Throne of Glass and hopefully finish it today. Oh my god, guys, wait, one more thing before my camera battery dies. I originally read this book for the first time on April 16th, 2024, almost exactly 1 year ago today. It is April 11th when I'm filming this. Page 143 of Throne of Glass. It's still the same day as my like clips from when I was reading Assassin's Blade or when I was finishing Assassin's Blade. I've done so much reading today, and I don't know if it's just because I've just been in this world all day with these characters, but upon my reread, I do feel more connected, and I do think a part of it is reading Assassin's Blade first. When I first read this book, I think I gave it a 3 stars. I think I did. I'll have to like check my Goodreads when we're done with it. That'll be fun. We'll check my review when we're done to see. But like just sitting and being like fully immersed into it with like no outside distractions, I am like in it. I was even thinking like, I feel like this book is like a perfect example of like right book, wrong time for my first read, because when I first read it, I don't know what it was. I just like was not like super interested in it. I'll have to look to see what I had read before. I wonder if I read something that I really loved before. Maybe I just like wasn't in the mood for like a huge long series like this, but like now that I am, and I've like dedicated my next like few weeks to just reading this series, I'm like in it. I'm in it. I get it. I'm starting to understand the hype. All of a sudden, I'm like, whoa, I love this book. Whoa, I love these characters. I don't know what's going on. And I want to make that clear. I don't want people to think I'm just like following the hype, especially since I didn't like love this the first time I read it. It's straight up just like I've been able to fully immerse myself in this. I think I did try reading it with like other books too. I don't know. I don't know what was going on. A part of it really might be because I didn't read Assassin's Blade first. Once again, I remember the major plot points, so it's gonna be hard for me to kind of like gather reactions for Throne of Glass and Crown of Midnight because I like know what happens. I've read them. But I just wanted to update. I have been literally reading since my last update. I went outside and tanned. I had my grapes, I had my water. The UV is like 9 today and it's like 88 degrees. It's gorgeous outside today. And we've had like a little bit of rain, a little bit of cloudiness. So I'm like, I'm taking advantage of this. I was at the beach the last 2 days. Like I'm just like, I'm really in like the spring summer vibe right now. But that's why I didn't like update a ton on this book. I was literally sitting out there for like an hour and a half just reading this, and that's how I've been able to get like as far as I've gotten. Came back in, I showered, as you can see. I feel fresh, I feel cool. I'm so glad to have gotten some vitamin D, and I'm gonna just sit and like literally I want to finish this book today. Hey guys, sorry I haven't updated. I am now on chapter 42, page 312. I have less than 100 pages left. I just want to do like a quick like timekeeping update. Once again, once I get to Heir of Fire, that's when like a lot of my reactions are gonna be coming, whether it is in the spoiler section or here. I did get to like the big reveal. I obviously like knew what was coming, but I was just saying like in the spoiler section, like, oh my gosh, who Selenia thought it was, hurt so bad for a very specific reason that I can't say in this section because it spoils 2 books now. I'm having a grand old time reading this. I really think that I read this book at the wrong time when I originally read it. I don't know when it was. We'll see when we check my Goodreads, but I know it was 2023. I just like was not feeling it. And now all of a sudden I'm like, how could I have not rated this 5 stars? But that being said, I kind of see why I didn't. Like I'm seeing the things that I don't normally like in a book appear in this a lot, like lots of exclamation marks. So, you know, I know that Sarah J Maas wrote this at 16, so I'm not like really judging it too harshly. I finished Throne of Glass last night, guys. I don't know what I was on the first time I read this because I ate it up. I'm not gonna repeat myself. It's for every reason I said in my last clip. I just love this. I felt so much more connected to the characters. I'm getting it. I'm getting it. And now I'm scared. Now I'm scared. Not because I don't think I'm gonna like it. Now I'm connected to these people and I know things are gonna go down. I don't know anything. I don't know any spoilers yet, which I cannot believe I've avoided spoilers on this for so long. But I know my heart is gonna be broken because like now I'm in this. Let's look at my Goodreads. I want to see when the last time I read it was, and I think I only rated it like 3 stars. Oh my god, yeah, I rated it at 3 stars the first time I read it. I read it for the first time on July 5th, 2023. I was just like not in it. I think it was just like peak summer. It wasn't like the mood for fantasy. I think I just wanted to start the series because I had seen other people talk about it. That means it's time to start Crown of Midnight, which means I am almost on to our first non-reread of this video. Guys, I'm having like the absolute best 3 days and it just started. It is Wednesday morning and for the next 3 days, I have no plans other than to read this series. And I planned that. I planned that very strategically. For the next 3 days, all I have to do is read the series. So I'm incredibly happy. I just started Crown of Midnight. This is the last reread I have to do. I'm so anticipating Heir of Fire now. When I originally read this, I was like, whatever, I'll get to Heir of Fire when I get to it. As you saw, I think I rated this one a 4 stars. I wasn't like super into the series. I seriously think if you can't get into the series, you have to read it like back to back to back because I think that was my issue. I think I was just taking such long breaks in between each book that I like didn't care. And like I said, Throne of Glass was the first one I read originally, but reading Assassin's Blade made me be like, wait, I actually kind of care about this universe. I care about this world. So now starting with Assassin's Blade and then going back to back to back, I think that is just like really, really helping me with this series because now I'm like, oh my god, because I'm not going to say it. This is the non-spoiler clip. There will be spoilers at the end. But I know what happens at the end of this book. Like I know what happens, I know what's going on. So I'm so excited to like finish my reread, get like all the details in, all like the little pieces that I'm missing here and there. Start Heir of Fire. I feel like a lot of these clips are gonna be from bed or my couch because truly like I don't even wanna get ready. I don't even wanna get ready. Anyway, the whole reason I even started this clip was because I wanna talk about her dog. Fleetfoot is her dog that Selenia gets in Throne of Glass. She just reminds me so much of my dog Charlie. She reminds me so much of my dog Charlie, my baby. He is just my angel. Just like a silly little dog, but she's also like a beast. Like I'm gonna just read this section right here. It says, Fleetfoot reached the stick and trotted back to them, her long tail wagging. Even though she wasn't fully grown yet, the dog was already abnormally large. Dorian had never said what breed exactly he suspected her mother had mated with. Given Fleetfoot's size, it could have been a wolfhound or an actual wolf. And like, Fleetfoot just being like the most pure soul, just like so sweet, just like Selenia's companion. That just reminds me so much of Charlie because Charlie is a freaking, he could kill me if he wanted to and he has no idea. He thinks he baby. Like he has no idea. He is just this big monster of a dog. Me again, still in bed, but I thought I'd change up the angle a little bit for y'all. I've been honestly on and off my phone all day, but it's okay because I have 2 more full days of just reading and doing nothing. But I have decided I'm gonna just like do reading sprints for like an hour because I'm only on chapter 4 and it's like 3 hours since my last update. Honestly, I would like to try to finish this book today and at least start Heir of Fire, but like I said, I could stay up as late as I want. But I just wanted to say Selenia's like royal alias, like the name that they use for her when she's in the courts, because they are not telling people that she was like the king's assassin. The only people who know that are like the king, Dorian, Cowell, like those people. Everyone else just thinks that she's like someone from like the court. But her alias is Lillian, and every time I read it, I'm like, Me? Every time I read it, I have like the cocktail party effect, which is like the effect that happens when someone says your name in like a crowded room where you're hearing like all these different voices, but then you hear your name clearly because it's like something you recognize. That's what keeps happening to me. It's clearly much later. Guys, I took a nap and then was on my phone for hours. I don't know what's wrong with me. This is like so stupid. Like it's really a non-update. Kind of like I feel like all my updates on this book have been, but like now I'm just like yapping. This video is gonna be so long. Archer. Does anyone else imagine Archer as Sam Claflin? Is that how you say his name? Finnick Odair. I'm imagining Sam Claflin as Finnick Odair. Hey, guess what? I talked all that shit about staying up late and reading and maybe even finishing Air of Fire and fell asleep at 11:30, 100 pages in. So we had a little bit of a flop of a reading day yesterday, but we still have all day today and all day tomorrow, and I'm like very purposefully staying off my phone, and I've already been reading. I'm on page 133. It's raining outside. I am watching Madison Kate's 24-hour readathon. I'm having a great time. I've not had a ton of rain this season, so having 2 full days where it's just gonna be raining and I'm just reading Throne of Glass the entire time. Are you kidding? Like I don't want to do anything else. All I want to do is sit and read. I'm feeling great. I just want to talk about this passage. Selenia was like supposed to be like guarding like the castle, but she ends up just kind of like going to herself and like dancing during this ball. I'm gonna give you the littlest amount of context so I don't accidentally put any spoilers in the non-spoiler section. But she says, I heard the music and I just wanted to dance for a few minutes, to just forget everything for one waltz and pretend to be a normal girl. So oh, my heart. I just love her. This is like what I've been talking about like this whole vlog, is this idea that she just wants to feel like a normal teenage girl, and she can't because she had her life like ripped away from her to become this assassin, and it wasn't like something she wanted to do. It was like she had to. Oh my gosh, like, it hurts. I just want her to be a normal girl too, and she never can be, and it's like this life that she's constantly mourning that she never got to like fully live. It like haunts the narrative almost. Like it's so sad, and you see it through her kind of being a little vain sometimes, kind of having her little like vanity moments, wanting to dress in pretty dresses despite being like the super deadly killer, wanting to just like dance and have fun, and her love for music. Like it's just the time has come. I finished Crown of Midnight. So there's something really exciting for me personally happening next, but let's talk about Crown of Midnight first. Let's see what I originally rated Crown of Midnight. I want to say I think I rated it a 4 stars, and we'll see when I originally read it because I have a very new rating for it. I think you guys can see me falling in love with this series as I go. Like I really am having such an amazing time. Seriously? If you have not read the series yet, or if you kind of started it and didn't really like it, read Assassin's Blade first. I promise you, you will feel more connected with the characters through those novellas. And then just read it all at once, because I feel like the reason I'm loving it so much is because I'm reading it all at once, like back to back to back. I feel like that's like severely impacting my reading experience right now. Oh my god, I originally rated it a 3 stars. I am gonna have to go back and watch the vlogs where I read these books and see what I said, because I genuinely have no idea. Like I have no clue. We're obviously changing that to a 4, and I originally read it October 17th, 2023. Now if you remember, I originally read Throne of Glass in July of 2023, maybe June, somewhere around there. That's what I said. You could rewind the video. I don't remember because it was a few days ago when I finished it, but you could rewind the video to see. So that's how far apart I read it, and then I did not read Assassin's Blade till April of 2024. So it was literally like 6-month periods in between each month. It's a 5 stars now. I think that this series is gonna just be a 5 stars. We'll see. And then let's add the date, finish date, April 17th, October 17th, 2023 to April 17th, 2025. Literally guys, I've only read one other book this month that has not been in the Throne of Glass series, and I actually have no regrets. So good, so good. I just love this. I know this is like normally like the least favorite in the series, and I will say I'm definitely on a high right now from just, like I said, reading it all in a row. I feel so immersed into this world that I kind of feel like all the books are kind of just blending into one. A very new start, because the first 2 books, Throne of Glass and Crown of Midnight, if we're not counting Assassin's Blade, they start off in like the kingdom that has conquered all the other kingdoms. That's where these books go from. Technically, they go from like the salt mines to here. Now we're gonna have a new new setting in the next book where she's going to Wendelin. I'm not saying why or how she gets there. It doesn't really matter. It's not a spoiler if you know no context, you know? Even when you figure out the context, not a spoiler. We're gonna get like a completely different vibe, and I also have never read any book past this one. We are starting Heir of Fire, which is the first book in this series that I'm going in completely blind. I have no clue what happens. I have no idea. I think I know who just pulled up. He hasn't said his name yet, but I think I know who just pulled up. I was right! Because I know what I know, and I'm not telling you what I know, but because I know what I know, I'm sad. I am now on chapter 20, page 155. I'm reading like 50 pages at a time and then taking a break because I feel like that's just like the way I'm gonna get this book done today. Every 50 pages I take a break unless I want to keep going, which last night I did keep going a few times because like I'm loving this. I'm loving this. I don't know how to explain it, but the vibes are different than the first two books. And seriously, I know this is such an annoying thing to say when people say like, oh, if you don't like the first few books, just like wait till you get to so-and-so. I know that's so annoying to say because it's like you're still reading like 1,000 pages to get to like the good part. I thought the other books were good. Obviously, you guys just saw that whole portion. This is like so different though, and I don't know how to explain it. I don't know why. The vibes are just different. I think it's the setting really. And now we're starting to get, not like multiple POVs because it's in third person. Like we're getting like multiple different perspectives from each person. And I'm liking that, honestly. I am. I think it's Tower of Dawn is like completely Cowl, and that's why people say to like, I'm so saying his name wrong, aren't I? Someone correct me, please. That's why people do the tandem read because like people are like, I don't want to be in its point of view, you know? So like, it's kind of doing that. It's kind of doing that. And I know, like I said, we're not in their point of view. It's just like focusing on that person per chapter. And I'm like loving it. I feel like the pacing is really good in this so far. I think the setting going back and forth has completely like changed things up. I think it just gives the book like a more like multifaceted vibe. It just feels like more complete with everything going on with like the different settings. It feels like we have so much more story now, and it does feel like there's been like a shift in the story from like King's assassin, she's the King's assassin, la 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 la, to like all of a sudden it's like, oh, now we're fighting for something. Like now we have a goal in mind, and I'm not gonna say what, because spoiler, you know, but hi, it's me again. I was going on a whole rant in the spoiler section and realized, hey, this isn't even a spoiler for the book anymore. Let's go back into the non-spoiler section. So here we are. I was saying like this series has been on my TBR for so long that I feel like it's what's been making me feel like extra slumpy the last few months. Because if you've been a subscriber for a while, you know I did 60 books in 60 days. That was really fun, and it did make me feel kind of slumpy, but I'm gonna be honest, I've been thinking like, oh, it really made me feel slumpy, like I just read too much, and I definitely think I did. Don't get me wrong, I definitely think I did. That was like nuts, and I don't know if I'm ever gonna be able to like realistically do that again. Maybe one day. I'm not saying never say never, and I'm definitely gonna do like variations of it. Like maybe I'll do like 30 books in 30 days if I have like a particularly open month, like things like that. I just don't know if realistically I'm ever gonna have as much time as I did last summer. But what I was saying is I was thinking like that made me feel slumpy, like that made me like really, but honestly, coming off of 60 books in 60 days, I had even more of a drive to read, because reading 15 books after reading 30 in a row in 1 month, reading 15 books felt like nothing. Anything, I was like reading more until about September. Then September, October hits, and I'm kind of feeling slumpy. I think I read a bit in September, and then October was like when my slump started. And I feel like even though I've read really great books between October through like March, I just was like in this huge slump, and I think I know what it is because I was thinking about it. I said in September, I was supposed to film the video you're watching now in September. It's April. I was supposed to film it literally like 6 months ago, and I just kept putting it off, not because I didn't want to, but because I had other reading vlogs planned. And like, hello, if you haven't noticed, there's probably gonna be less videos on my channel in April, not because I didn't want there to be. I actually had more planned, but I had to keep pushing them back because I'm still reading this series. It's a lot to read all at once, and like I'm happy about it. Kept putting it off, and literally every month I sat and thought, okay, I'm gonna film it this month. I'm gonna film it this month. If you've seen any of my monthly goals on my lifestyle channel, I literally keep saying like, okay, like this month I'm gonna read Throne of Glass. Okay, no, this is my goal. I'm gonna read Throne of Glass this month. And I've just been putting it off, putting it off, putting it off. And I'm not kidding. I think that's what's been making me feel slumpy. I really do, because I feel like it's just been like, not like a thorn in my side, because I'm having a great time reading this, but it's been so in the back of my mind. Like, I can't think of anything else. Like, I just have been, every time I'm reading another book, I'm looking at Throne of Glass thinking, I should be reading that right now. Ooh, I should be reading that. I just got to part 2, where it says part 2, Heir of Fire. I've not been able to put this book down all morning. The other few books, I mean, you saw the reading vlog up until this point, you know. The other few books took me like a few days at a time to read, not because I wasn't super into them. I liked them. I was having a great time. Obviously, I gave them 5 stars. But there's something about this book that is making me want to just know what happens next between like all 3 plot lines that we're getting in here. And I feel like I said before, it is because there are so many plot lines, but they're not confusing. Like, it's like written out very well. It's paced very well. And each of them like makes you want to read more. Like, each chapter has like the smallest cliffhanger. I wouldn't call it like a cliffhanger, because like you're gonna figure it out in the next like few chapters. Each of them will have like a little cliffhanger, and then you go to someone else's POV and then you remember their cliffhanger and you're like, oh my god, wait. It makes me want to keep reading. I'm having such a wonderful time. We're getting some backstory to some very important characters right now, which I'm not saying because this is not the spoiler section. We just got a little bit of someone's backstory that made me go like, oh my gosh, like I love this character and I feel so bad for him. Also getting some relationship building between 2 characters, 2 important characters, let's just say that. And I'm also like loving. I just had to give my update because I am a little over halfway through this book now. I thought we just got like a crazy ass reveal, but we didn't. She just juked me out a little bit. Sarah, what is going on? That was so painful. Okay, so we finished Heir of Fire. We finished it in less than 24 hours, which I am so proud of myself for, but also that is just like a testament to how much I love this book. I want to put it down. I was doing, like I was telling you, I don't remember if it was even last night or this morning, it's all blending together. I was doing like 50 pages and then I take a break, and then another 50 pages, and I take a break, and then another 50 pages to just kind of like help keep my pace. By the end of this book, I literally read from my last update all the way to the end, which was like 260 pages, just like straight. It was like one of those books where time meant nothing. As you guys saw, I had to like, you know, get myself back into everything, get some fresh air, because I've been cooped up in my room reading this series for the last 2 days. And this just felt like, not like a finale because it's not the final book, but like a finale. Like it was so good. This was just so well done. I loved every character and I cared about every storyline going on. Like I feel like it all merged very well together and it wasn't confusing. It wasn't like what's happening. There was a character introduced in this book named Rowan who I absolutely freaking loved. Like he's just one of my favorite characters. I'm still a Dorian girl. I still love Dorian. But Rowan, like I love him. I loved like figuring out more about the plot, which I can't say because it spoils like the first 3 books. Guess what I gave this this book. It's a 5 stars. It's just, guys, this is gonna be a 5-star series for me. I feel it. I really, really feel it. First clip in the spoiler section. Hi guys, hello, we're back to Assassin's Blade. But you may remember when I was reading Assassin's Blade way back at the beginning of this video, which is so weird to say because I haven't finished I'm still reading, I'm like in the same position I was. Anyway, so you may remember me being like, it was such like a small throwaway detail, like such a small throwaway detail. And I'm only saying that because I don't want to spoil that it's not a small throwaway detail, that Selenia talks about like the makeup and being feminine and like liking the way she looks. At the end of this novella, when they're doing the fight scene, Ansel and Selenia like being worried that the blade is gonna hit her face is like why we have like those little moments of Selenia talking about how pretty she feels and like how she likes feeling pretty and like how she likes just like having fun because she didn't really get that opportunity, because at the end of the day it's just like she's a teenage girl. Just the way Sarah J Maas like brings that back around, it's just so, oh my god. And that's the thing with Sarah J Maas. I feel like so many of her small details just like really come back. And this scene always hurts because I do really like Ansel, and it's hard because I feel for her. Like after hearing her backstory and stuff, you're like, she's right, but she's also not right. Like she's right, but she's also incredibly wrong. There's such a gray area and you realize like how nuanced these characters are. I can't even imagine how the rest of the series is because like I've been saying, I've only read up to Crown of Midnight. So I originally read Throne of Glass, Crown of Midnight, and then Assassin's Blade. But I decided I wanted to do a big reread by reading Assassin's Blade first because like I said, and like I'll probably keep saying, I didn't really care and I feel like I wasn't like fully into the series until I read this book, because this is the book that made me have all these realizations that I'm talking about now with you guys of like, oh my god, all the characters are so multifaceted. I really like love this. I really feel connected to this world. I can't even imagine like how the rest of these books are gonna be. I am so excited to get to Heir of Fire. I mean, I'm obviously excited about like Throne of Glass and Crown of Midnight, but they are rereads and I don't remember everything, but I remember like the main plot points, you know? Everyone says like that's the book in the series where like everything changes. Like these 3 books just like introduce everything. Heir of Fire just like makes everything like go crazy, go haywire, but I'm so like interested in everything. I really think Sarah J Maas is so smart. Like the fact that she wrote the series, I think like the first book, Throne of Glass, she wrote at like 16 or something. What the hell? Like to have these characters that are kind of just like throwaway characters in like small novellas have like such complexity where you feel for them but you're also like, no, you're doing something bad. Crazy. So just had to talk about this because I love this scene. I love the scene because it like breaks my heart. Crying. I'm in the same spot, but like it's just I don't know why I love Ansel so much. I just feel for her. She's like so like there's just a moral greatness there. I know there is. I'm so curious if she like comes back up in the series because of like what happened. Like this, it's like not even the part that I thought I was gonna cry at, because I don't even think I cried the first time I read this. I think after filming that clip and talking about what I was talking about and then like reading this immediately after, I'm like, oh my god, like Selenia lowered her bow and watched until Ansel disappeared beyond the horizon. 1 arrow, that had been her promise, but she also promised Ansel that she had 20 minutes to get out of range. Selena had fired after 21, and it's like, it's sad because you feel for both of them. Like they did love each other. They were like, honestly, for this like little novella, this has been 12 chapters by the way, and I'm just like so like enthralled with these characters. They were best friends for a moment there. Like they were, and it's like this idea of girlhood and Selenia finally feeling just like a normal teenage girl, just to have like this happen and like this like huge betrayal, but they're both kind of betrayed by each other, and even though they're at odds, even though they're against each other, they both still care so much about each other that they're like letting the other person go even though they shouldn't. Even though they know they shouldn't, they still are like, hey, we're against each other. There's been this huge betrayal between both of us right now, but I'm letting you go because I love you. Like at the end of the day, like you're one of my best friends. And oh my god, she fired after 21. It's just, oh, that got my ass. It really did. this in the spoiler section, but I'm not fully sure if it counts as a spoiler, guys. We are now on Throne of Glass because I don't think I've mentioned that for the spoiler section. I think this is the first spoiler for Throne of Glass. This book is very Dorian versus, do you say Cowl? It's very like love triangle-y with like those two boys, even though like this book is not about the romance. Like this is not about the romance at all. Which is funny because the one thing I do know about this series is she doesn't end up with either of them. I know nothing else. I forgot like what his name is. I know there's like a guy that everyone loves that like doesn't even show up until I think maybe Era 5. But I know like neither of them are her main love interest. But I am a Dorian girl. I kind of love him. I think it's something about him like letting her read all the books and kind of communicating that way for like the first few chapters, and then like him just being like charming. I don't know, I'm a Dorian girl. I kind of love him. First time I read this book, I was like so kind of pissed off that Dorian wasn't the guy. I was kind of pissed off that she chose Cowl. I do think like Dorian matches kind of like that side of her that like loves pretty things, and Cowl matches kind of like the fighter in her. So I understand why she chose Cowl, and I understand why she doesn't end up with him, because like yes, she chose him then, but he's like he's not it, because at the end of the day he's gonna just expect so much from her, right? I don't know, I'm like spitballing now. Hi guys, I'm in the same spot and it's dark now. Today has been absolutely lovely. I am almost done with Throne of Glass, and I like literally haven't updated barely at all during this book. I'm on chapter 42 now. I have like less than 100 pages left, and something I didn't notice before that I'm noticing now after reading Assassin's Blade, not only rereading Assassin's Blade, the reason Selenia was so quick to think like Nehemiah was like the murderer, the person who has been like, you know, taking all the champion's powers, is because of Ansel. And oh my god, it made it hurt more. It made it hurt so much more. Because like I obviously knew it was Cain because I read this book. Like I knew what was coming. I just never thought about that before, even when I read Assassin's Blade for the first time, because I had read it after Crown of Midnight. So it wasn't even on my mind. I'm so on the side. Even though I've only read 3 books in the series, I am so on the side of reading Assassin's Blade first. As I was reading this, I realized there's like something that I have to say in all of the other books when I'm doing the non-spoiler section to not spoil anything. I know that Selenia's real name isn't Selenia. I'm aware of this, but I'm letting you guys know now, anyone in the comments, don't spoil it. For all the other books, I'm gonna just keep calling her Selenia and not, is it Eileen? Is that how you say it? I literally am so bad with fantasy names, so sorry about that. But I can't even call her that in the other books because that's a spoiler. So like when I'm reviewing the other books in the non-spoiler section, just know who I'm talking about. I just have to make that disclaimer before someone's like, did you even read the book? Yeah, I did. I know that at the end of this book, she's revealed as like the Lost Queen. Oh, sorry, I'm on Crown of Midnight. She's like revealed as like the Lost Queen at the end of this book. And I am just like, oh my gosh. And I just keep thinking about that because when I originally read this, I was like, okay, whatever. I don't know why I didn't care, because now reading it in anticipation for that scene, I'm like, oh my god, how did I not give a shit? I think I just was like totally not, whoa, my B-reel's going off. So let's be real together, guys. I'm gonna have to go back and watch the reading vlog I read this book in to like really get my reviews and thoughts of what I was thinking in that moment. But like retrospectively looking back, I just kind of remember feeling like underwhelmed, and I don't know why. I don't know why I felt underwhelmed at all. Like I don't get it. I think it just really was like not the right time. I also will say, and I'm gonna make this suggestion here, it doesn't matter if you're watching the spoiler section, it's either you're not gonna read the books or you've read them all, which I feel like most people will have read them all. But I think I'm gonna have to say in the non-spoiler section, like my suggestion for the series, if you're just like not feeling it, first of all, start with Assassin's Blade. As someone who did not start with it, always do that. But also I think I'm gonna have to tell people like, not only should you start with Assassin's Blade, you should read all these books at once. The parallels between Cowl offering to run away with her and Sam running away with her, it hurts. I'm really, really upset. I just finished chapter 6 of Heir of Fire. This is now is it the first spoiler section clip for Heir of Fire? I think it is. I just finished chapter 6 for Heir of Fire, And is her name Sorsha? I'm living for the Sorsha. I'm living for Sorsha right now. I hope she doesn't end up being like one of those like side characters that doesn't matter at all or anything. Like, I kind of love her. Dorian is still my favorite guy. We were introduced to Rowan, and I know that she ends up with him at like the end of the series. I know they kind of have like an enemies to lovers arc, and he's slaying. I like him too, but I'm such a Dorian girl. I just love him. I don't know what it is. Hi, spoiler section people. So I was just saying I'm 150 pages in. If you saw the non-spoiler part, I am now on chapter 20 from when I'm filming this clip in the spoiler section. I'm on chapter 20, page 155, and I just had to come on. I just talked about how much I'm loving this book in the non-spoiler section, and I am. But I'm like a little uncomfy because Rowan, I know she ends up with him. Why is there so much emphasis so far on like, they're not related, but they are. Oh, don't worry, we're not. We have like barely any blood relation, but we are related. Why do we keep saying it? Why would that detail be in there at all? I'm Team Rowan. I was like slowly building up to it. They're not related, they're not, but still, it was just so weird. That's just so weird. Can you imagine if I like introduced my boyfriend and was like, guys, this is my boyfriend and we're not related? Whoa. It's so weird. I've gotten past that because they stopped talking about it. I've gotten past all of that. I feel it, like the tension between them. This is like better than Rysand and Feyre, you know? Like honestly, I think it's better than the ships in ACOTAR. Like,